Hey Lisa, I've been working late today, so you don't need to prepare any supper for me.
What? You're working late again? What time do you think you'll be home then?
I told you this before, but it's always hard to know. My boss is taking me out for drinks and it's not in my control. I'm sure we'll be done by the last train.
You've been coming home late a lot lately.
It's not like I'm doing this on purpose. Going out for drinks after work is part of my job. Sucking up to your boss is important if you want to move up in the world.
I guess that's true. But I hear your coworker Brady doesn't come home too late. I bumped into his wife the other day and she told me that he hasn't had to work overtime at all lately.
Oh yeah, he's given up on getting any promotions, that's why. I'm guessing he's happy staying where he is forever. He's already labeled as useless at a company. That's why he's never invited to come out after work.
But isn't it a good thing that he gets to spend more time with his family? I don't think it's necessary to go out every night.
Well, I'm not always going out with the same people. I want to create a broad range of personal connections. It's especially important that I try really hard right now. This could decide whether I have an opportunity to get a promotion in the future.
Okay, I guess I understand then. Just make sure you don't drink too much.
Of course, I know that.
I know you can't help it today, but it would make me very happy if you tried coming home early more often. It's hard for me to be alone with your mom all the time.
Why? What do you mean?
I just told you about this the other day. Were you not paying attention?
Oh, is it about you feel like she's picking on you?
Yeah. For instance, she made me clean the entire storage room this morning. I can't help but to think that she's doing these things just to be mean.
What other things did she do to make you feel that way?
Well, she made me clean the storage room thoroughly last week as well. Despite that, I had to take out everything and wipe her again today for no apparent reason. It wasn't even dirty to begin with, and she hardly ever even uses that room anyway. I think she's just running out of places for me to clean.
Why don't you just make up some excuse and say no? You're only stressed out because you take things too seriously all the time.
But she would bother me all day if I didn't do as she says. She says things like, "Oh, I shouldn't have let you marry my son." Or, "I wish I could trade you off with a younger and more beautiful wife for my son." What's more, today she told me that because I'm in my 30s now, I'm old and hideous.
Well, isn't that how it works for every mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship? I'm sure everyone deals with these things. It's not like you're the only one with this problem, so don't worry about it.
How could you say things like that? Who am I supposed to trust if you're not even on my side?
Don't say things like that, I'm not picking sides. It's my mother we're talking about.
But it's really hard for me to hear her talk to me this way every single day. I'm trying my hardest to get her approval, but I think she's already made up her mind from the beginning that she doesn't like me. She's constantly making me do random, unnecessary tasks and talking down to me. Do you realize how difficult this is to deal with every day?
What do you want to do then?
When you're around, she doesn't treat me that way. That's why I want you to be home more often.
Well, I have to work, so it's not possible.
I know that. I guess I'd just like you to not go out after work as often, if you can. Or maybe you can try talking to your mom about this?
I don't know. I feel like I've been making her out to be a horrible person.
Well, she is picking on me.
It's not like she's hitting you. Just don't think about it. You're making it a way bigger deal than it is.
Can you say the same thing if this was happening to you?
I don't think it would bother me. I have to go through way harder things than this at one time. I can't even keep track of how many times I've been talked down to. But even then, I'm expected not to complain and keep a smile on my face. It annoys me that I have to listen to these types of complaints when you are mostly able to relax at home.
It's fine. Just forget it.
I'm glad you finally understand how selfish you're being. You have to realize how fortunate you are. Everything is provided for you. And the only thing you have to do is deal with my mom.
It wasn't my choice to quit my job. You were the one who asked me to quit and stay home with your mom.
But you ultimately made that decision. Don't complain about the choices you made for yourself. You should just appreciate the fact that you can stay home and not have any responsibilities. I don't want to hear about this ever again. Just solve these issues on your own.
Hey, Max. How could you do this to me? Please unlock the door and let me in.
I told you I'm not letting you in the house anymore. I will ship all your stuff to your parents' house. You can sign the divorce papers later. Wait until you hear from me.
On top of suddenly asking me for a divorce, you kicked me out without notice. How could you do this to me?
Well, I'll let you have your personal items like your wallet.
Even so, shouldn't we at least talk about it?
What do you mean? You don't want to get divorced? Even though we barely see each other lately.
That's because you hardly ever come home. I would be lying if I said it never crossed my mind. But even then, isn't it wrong to ask me to leave without first talking about things?
It's hard to live in the same house as someone you are divorcing. Why do I have to keep taking care of you until you're ready to leave?
I didn't ask you to support me. All I wanted was to have a proper amount of time to gather my things. I don't think it's normal to kick your spouse out like that without even talking about things first.
It's meaningless to talk about it when all I want is divorce. We will see each other when you sign the divorce papers. Isn't that good enough?
How are you planning to meet up? You know my parents' home is really far from here, right?
Well, you can travel back here when it's time.
Seriously? How selfish are you?
Well, if you don't like it, then why don't you stay at a nearby hotel until the papers are ready? But don't even think about asking me to pay for it.
Is the reason you're divorcing me because there's someone else?
What are you talking about?
Well, your mother told me. She said that you will definitely bring home a young, pretty girl one of these days.
That's just something my mom made up.
Well, you had been staying out often. Sometimes even overnight. You said you'd been sleeping in the office, but I have trouble believing that.
Well, I was actually sleeping at a cheap motel near work.
I don't need to hear your lame excuses. In your suit pants pocket, I found a receipt from a woman's clothing store. And I noticed the credit card bill had charged for an expensive hotel. I'm pretty sure you even went on an overnight spa trip. So you're divorcing me because there's someone else, right?
Where's your proof?
Well, all those credit card bills and stuff.
That doesn't prove anything. I just stayed at the nice hotel and went to the spa trip on my own. Aren't you desperate? Now that we're getting divorced, you're just making things up to get alimony from me. It's exactly this type of behavior that is causing you to be dumped.
If you're so perfect, show me your smartphone.
Why would I do that?
If you're so clean, you have nothing to hide, right?
That's invading my privacy. You're such a joke. But I guess I'm glad you're this way. It makes me even happier that I'm divorcing you.
What would you do if I said I don't want a divorce?
Then we'll have to fight on a court. Either way, I don't want to live in the same house as you anymore. Pleasant every time I see you. I have zero feelings for you anymore. And yet I'm giving you a fair split of our assets. So there's no reason for the courts not accept this divorce.
You talk about a fair share, but there's hardly anything to begin with. All the money that we had saved, you wasted on unnecessary things.
Couldn't be helped, it was all necessary purchases. Think about what the neighbors might think with you just standing there. Please leave the property now. I'm never gonna let you in the house.
You're a horrible jerk until the end.
Didn't you mold me into this person? You clearly didn't do a good job performing your duties as a wife. My mother is saying she can't wait for me to find a wife that is way better than you.
Karma is gonna get you too badly if you keep acting this way.
What possible bad thing could happen to me by breaking up with such a useless wife? Maybe you should worry about yourself. Aren't you worried about whether a simple housewife like you can even get a proper job again?
I can always find work as long as I'm not too picky.
Yeah, I guess you can always find minimum paying jobs. Well, we just aren't made for each other. So stop with this nonsense and leave already. We're getting divorced because you were a bad wife. Just know that you aren't suited for marriage. And go on with your life with that lesson in mind. Hey Lisa, it's been a while.
What? Max?
Yeah, it's me. Happy to see you the other day. So that's why I thought I'd reach out and say hello.
Is that so? And, is there anything else? I'd appreciate it if you didn't bother me again for no reason.
Yeah, you don't need to be so cruel. I'm your ex-husband, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, ex-husband. We're just complete strangers now. I deleted your contact info and all our past messages, because I have nothing to say to you anymore.
Well, why didn't you block me or something, then?
That's because I completely forgot that you even existed. I didn't even think to block you.
You don't need to be so harsh. I do feel bad about how I acted during our divorce. I realize now that it was a bit too one-sided.
I don't care about that at this point.
Oh, by the way, did I hear it right that you're working in the hospital now?
Why, is that where you saw me?
Yes, you don't have any nurse's license or anything, so I've heard that it's a tough job. How are you liking it?
I told you it's none of your business. Stop texting me if you don't have any specific reason. I will make sure to block you this time. And I will ignore you even if I bump into you at the hospital. I expect you to do the same. Bye then.
Wait! I do have something specific to tell you.
What is it?
Do you want me to support you financially?
What?
I'm sure you were tired of being used by nurses. Making ends meet every month. Wouldn't it be nice if you can go back to being a simple housewife?
I don't understand what you're trying to say. I never, ever want to live with you ever again.
Well, you can commute then.
Commute?
Mom got dementia, so I need you to come take care of her. She's been really bad lately, and it's getting too much for me to handle by myself.
Is that so?
I know we broke up, but she used to be your mother-in-law. Mom is also saying that she'd happily accept help if it's yours. I would include free breakfast, lunch, and dinner. How's that?
You are joking, right? Nobody would ever accept volunteer work like that. Besides, my mother-in-law passed away 3 years ago.
What? Passed away? You are the one with the jokes. She's very much alive.
I said my mother-in-law, meaning my husband's mother.
What? Are you married?
Yep.
It's only been 6 years.
You mean it's already been 6 years?
But you said your mother-in-law passed away 3 years ago. Does that mean you were already married 3 years ago?
Yes. Is that a problem?
Yeah, you were not as innocent as I thought.
What? Are you kidding me? You've got some nerve. You're the one who quickly remarried someone right after we got divorced.
You knew about my marriage?
Yeah, all the neighbors were talking about it. Saying you got a new wife right after you kicked me out. I also know that you guys broke up. I guess they thought I would like to know that as well.
Mom and I talked, and the young wife was completely useless, and I regret breaking up with you.
Well, I have zero regrets. I'm even happy that we broke up.
You don't need to pretend to be tough. He's the kind of husband who's still making you work after all. And he married you when you're already past your prime. He must be a miserable old man who can't even provide.
Who do you think you are?
Why don't you just leave the loser and come back to me? I will never make you work just to make ends meet. You can go back to doing simple house chores.
I've had enough of your nonsense. You are the old, miserable man who has no ability to provide for the family. Besides, I'm not working at the hospital.
What? But I saw you wearing an apron and helping an elderly person in a wheelchair. I also saw you talking to the hospital staff.
I was just taking my husband's relative out for a stroll. My husband owns that hospital. Of course I talk to the staff from time to time.
What? Your new husband is a doctor then?
That's right.
That's a pretty big hospital too.
Well, yeah, big enough to have an inpatient's ward.
I see. Then please let my mom be admitted to the hospital.
Don't nursing home for her. That's not what we do at our hospital.
I'm sure you can do something about it if it's just one person.
It doesn't work that way. Quit joking around and look for a proper institute for her. What kind of person thinks to ask his ex-wife to take his mother-in-law in because you can't care for her yourself? I'm worried about your mental state.
I can't even afford any nursing homes. I have to pay a lot of alimony and my last wife loved expensive things. On top of that, because my mom isn't feeling well, she caused a lot of trouble with people and I'm still paying compensation for the damage she caused.
That has nothing to do with me.
Please help me! I haven't been able to go to work lately. And the house is a mess as well. I could only ask you for something like this.
Weren't you the one who ignored me when I asked you for help when your mother was picking on me? Didn't you say that it's my fault for taking things too seriously? And on top, you cheated on me and kicked me out saying we're getting a divorce. So what makes you think that I'd want to help you after all that? How many times do you have to stomp all over me until you're satisfied?
I don't want to stomp all over you, it's just that you were the kindest person I know, and Mom also agrees that you were the best wife for me.
It's too late for anything, and I will never forgive either of you. You guys deserve this. A mother-in-law whose only joy in life is to pick on her daughter-in-law, and a garbage husband who cheats on his wives. No one would ever want to help people who are like that.
Lisa, I'm sorry, I really am. It would make a big difference if you could help even just a little bit. Please help me take care of her. I promise I will come up with a solution to make it worth your while.
The reason why nobody's willing to help you right now is because of how you have treated others in the past. You did it to yourself, so deal with it.
If I could deal with this myself, I wouldn't be asking. I've never paid any attention to what it takes to run a house. All I know is my work. Please help me. I will do anything. I'll even grovel at your feet if that helps. Please help.
Stop whining and go ask for advice from City Hall. They will help even a piece of garbage like you. Oh, and one last thing. I wasn't a bad wife who isn't suited for marriage. Because I'm happily married right now. My only mistake was marrying a defective garbage husband. Right after I sent him that message, I made sure to block him this time. And apparently he caused a scene by storming into my husband's hospital and demanding to see me. Of course, we called the police and had him removed from the property. We made him promise that he will never come near me nor the hospital. And we also informed his boss about the incident as well. That boss is actually Brady, the colleague Max used to look down on. I guess it ended up being Max who never received any promotion. I really regret marrying a loser like him, but I'm trying to think that I have my happiness right now because of the past. I have no idea what happened to them since then, but I happened to walk by their house a few years later, and it looked very run down, like it was in ruins. Anyway, it's none of my business how they are anymore. I just want to always remember to appreciate my husband, my family, and people around me for loving and supporting me, and I want to cherish this happiness in life forever.
Arnold, we need to talk. Huh? What is it, Ruth? Don't you know I'm working right now? If you need something, wait until I get back home or at least until lunch. Anyway, I need to get back to work. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, really? So, hanging out at a hotel with an 18-year-old coworker is what you consider work, is it? Interesting.
Excuse me?
Karen Bishop, 18. You know, the girl you hired to be your receptionist? And here I thought that you were just cheating on me during business hours under the guise of visiting customers. But good to know that you're just busy working.
Well, looks like you've caught me.
You weren't exactly trying to hide it, were you?
It wasn't that bad.
Sure. Anyway, I've submitted the divorce documents, just like I told you I would from the beginning.
What? How could you have submitted the documents already? I don't remember signing anything. You can't just do that without my consent.
Give me a break. Did you forget already?
Forget what?
I told you already. Back when I forgave you the first time, I said I wouldn't forgive you a second time.
I vaguely remember something like that.
I got all the documents ready ages ago. And I told you that I would submit them the very instant you cheated again.
Well, still, let's not do anything rash.
Did you think I would forget? Or that I would cool off with some time or something? Well, think again. I'm through with you. And you better believe I'll be taking you to the cleaners in court. Buckle up.
Ugh, are you kidding me? Now Karen dumped me too because of you. And my savings are wiped out. I'm probably even gonna be fired. Are you happy? Don't you even feel bad a little?
I like to think that I'm a nice enough person, but my heart isn't big enough to spare any sympathy for cheating dirtbags like you.
You can't just blame me. Maybe if you were able to get pregnant, this wouldn't have happened.
Excuse me? What did you just say to me?
We've been married 4 years, Ruth. 4 years, and you still haven't gotten pregnant. What am I supposed to think, except that you've got something wrong with you? My parents want to be able to hold their grandchild someday, before they kick the bucket, you know? And then Karen showed up, young and healthy.
Are you saying you were going to try and get that girl pregnant?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Good Lord. What is the matter with you?
Nothing's the matter with me. I'm taking my life seriously over here, and I'm ready to be a father. Karen is young, and she's got good hips. She wouldn't have had any trouble giving me a kid. But now she's gone too, all because of you.
Oh, right. You didn't tell her that you were married. She left you because she realized you're a lying piece of garbage, same as I did.
No, I was gonna tell her.
Oh, save it. And by the way, I'm sick to death of seeing your mopey sad sack face around my house. Find yourself a motel or a cabin or a tent or I don't care what. Just find something and get out and take all your crap with you. Like as soon as possible. I want you gone yesterday. Whoever heard of a disgraced ex just hanging around haunting the place like a ghost? God help me.
I'm sorry, what? I have no idea what you're smoking, but I'm not going anywhere. If anyone's gotta go, it's you.
Oh yeah?
Here I was wondering when you were planning to clean out. This was my house from the beginning. My parents bought it before I was even born. Any reasonable person would see that I'm the only one who has any right to be here.
Are you being serious right now?
Of course. I'm dead serious. Ah, I get it. Your parents moved to Canada. You've got nowhere to go, right? Aw, poor Ruth. Why didn't you just say so? Well, what should we do? I tell you what. I guess I can let you stay in the house if you get on your knees and beg me to put a baby in you. If you can give me a kid, I'll let you stay here as long as you want. But what am I thinking? You can't even have children. Instead, you're just like this curse I've been stuck with when all I want to do is give my parents a grandchild to play with like a proper adult. I guess what I'm trying to say is, get out of my house.
You know, actually, you're the one who doesn't have anywhere to go.
Oh yeah? How's that?
You remember the last time I caught you cheating? That was back when your parents were just about finished getting ready to move out to Kansas. Just 2 months before that, actually, if memory serves.
Okay. And your point is?
So, we had a chat back then about whose name should go on the deed. Unlike you, apparently, your parents actually felt bad about what you did, so they ended up putting the house in my name instead of yours.
What? Is that true?
Of course. Look for yourself.
Actually, you know what? I think I just remembered.
Oh, how convenient. Anyway, like I said, I want you out immediately.
But I've lived in this house my whole life. I grew up here.
Wait, are you crying? Is that sobbing I hear coming from your room?
No! I just hit my knee on something. I'm not crying. I just don't understand how this could happen.
What do you mean? You brought all of this on yourself.
Hey, Ruth. It's me, Arnie.
Oh,
I can't believe it's already been 3 whole years.
I can't believe I forgot to block you. Bye!
Wait, hold on. Why didn't you tell me that we have a kid?
What? We don't.
You're sticking with that story, huh? I saw you. You were holding a little girl around 2 years old and she called you Mom. If she's about 2, that means she would have been conceived right around the time that we split up, right?
I think you must have seen someone else. I don't have a 2-year-old kid.
Yeah, sure you don't. So, what do you say? Let's get remarried.
Are you out of your mind?
Come on. I know it must be tough being a single mother.
I'm sure it is, but I don't have a kid, so I wouldn't know personally. Plus, I'm married.
Oh, you mean you still consider us married? I guess that works out just the same.
What? Gross! No!
Anyway, I'll head over to the house right away. See you soon.
What? No, don't come to my house! There's absolutely no way I would ever get back together with you!
Honey, I'm home. I've been ringing the doorbell for like 5 minutes. Open the door. The lights are on so I know you're home.
Oh God. Did you actually come?
Of course! We shouldn't waste any time getting things going again.
I told you not to come here, you psycho! Although, come to think of it, the doorbell hasn't rung at all.
Yes it has. I can hear it from outside. It's definitely ringing. I wonder if your excitement for our big reunion has struck you completely senseless. Or don't tell me, you're so flustered with excitement that you can't even come to the door? What's happened to you? You've gotten so cute these past 3 years. Oh man, tonight is going to be something else. I can feel it.
Please keep your disgusting fantasies to yourself. Anyway, the doorbell hasn't rung at all, and my husband just hit the front porch and there's no one there.
Huh? Husband?
I told you before, you freak! I'm already married!
What the heck? Are you telling me that you let some other guy into your home to live with my child? You really need to think this through, honey. If you do that, our kid can never know what it feels like to be hugged by both of her parents at the same time. You need to divorce him right away.
I told you, we don't have a kid together.
You can't lie to me. I told you already, I saw you with her.
Okay, hold on a second.
Why?
I just got a message from my sister. It looks like an emergency.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Finally! What the heck were you doing?
Hey, idiot! Are you at the house we lived in when we were married?
Of course. Where else would I be? You still live there, don't you?
No. Your brother lives there with his wife, dummy.
What? Chris?
Wow. Oh, so you really haven't talked with your brother at all since he graduated high school and left home?
Of course not. He stole a bunch of stuff from the house to sell for drugs or something and disappeared in the middle of the night.
Whatever, I don't actually care. Right after we got divorced, he showed up at the house saying that he had been to rehab and had straightened his life out.
Okay.
And there's more. He just so happened to also be engaged to Caroline.
Your sister? How did that happen?
I guess he just happened to get hired at the same company as her. They hit it off and started talking and hanging out without realizing the two of us had been married. Of course, they figured it out eventually.
Weird.
Anyway, Caroline ended up getting pregnant around when we got divorced. And my company arranged for me to transfer to a different location. So anyway, we got to talking and I ended up renting them the house after I moved. So the two of them have been living there ever since.
So, wait. What you're saying is...
Yeah, that was Caroline that you saw. Not me. And the kid that she had is your... well, I guess both of our niece. Because our siblings are married to each other.
So that means that the people inside the house I'm at are... Chris and Caroline?
Well, Caroline at least. It seems your brother is on his way home from work.
Oh, I see. I guess that's lucky at least. All I really remember about Chris is that he was really scary. I don't really want to see him.
By the way, they know all about why we got divorced already. And I already told Caroline what is going on and who it is standing outside her house ringing the doorbell repeatedly and scaring her kid. And she told Chris. So it sounds like he's on his way home as fast as he can.
Oh crap.
I would guess he should be there any second now.
Oh crap, he's gonna kill me!
Get away from the house first. Well, at least it's insured.
Ruth, help me!
What do you want now?
I'm so screwed right now.
Yeah, your whole life is screwed. I'm surprised you still have time to bother me.
Wait, what do you know?
Your brother told me what you said to him yesterday. You started stalking that Karen girl after I divorced you and she dumped you. And then she eventually started dating someone else and they eventually got married. And then you crashed the wedding drunk and caused a big scene. Apparently you owe about $10,000 in damages. And that's just in fines and wedding fees and whatever else that the judge ordered you to pay. Nice going.
Ugh. I can't believe he told you all that. That was private.
Of course he told me. You've caused so much trouble in my life already, I deserve to know.
Well, if you know all about it anyway, then I don't need to explain anything. You've got to help me.
Why should I?
How about because it's a woman's job to support her husband? Or what about just common decency?
I've told you several times that you aren't my husband. I'm married to someone else. And don't make me puke talking about decency. I'm doing enough of that already, and I need to be extra careful with my condition right now. It's a delicate time.
Huh?
I'm going to have a baby.
Huh?
With my husband Peter, of course.
Hold on. I thought you couldn't have children.
No one ever said that except you, because you're a piece of crap.
But wait. How come you never got pregnant then if you're able? We were married for 4 years.
Well, it's true I never got pregnant.
See, I knew it. So you admit that you're lying.
Why don't you ask your brother if I'm lying? He's with you now, isn't he? He's known that I'm pregnant for weeks now.
Hold on. He says it's been about 10 weeks.
That's right. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I had tons of examinations and fertility tests while we were married. They all came back totally okay. I'm perfectly fertile.
So, what was the deal then? Were you avoiding it back when we were married?
I wasn't avoiding it. Why don't you think about that for a bit and figure out for yourself what the deal was? Anyway, enough about that. Chris told me that you're going to start working at his old construction company tomorrow.
Ugh, he told you that too?
Apparently, you can't stalk someone properly while also holding down a proper job. But now that you're done stalking and have a debt to society to repay, you can finally get back to the workforce. Good for you!
Hey, it's nothing to laugh at. That place is no joke. Apparently, that's where he worked when he was living in a halfway house and getting straight. He says the work beat all his vices out of him. I seriously don't know how long I can last somewhere like that.
I have no idea what you expect me to do about it.
Come on!
Anyway, I ought to get going. Stress isn't good for the baby.
Please wait. Don't go.
Good luck with all that, Arnold.
No! Hold on! Please don't abandon me!
I had never heard of the company that Arnold went to work for, but apparently the name is pretty well known among those in the industry. And my brother-in-law seemed confident that if we left Arnold there, they could probably make something useful out of him, which put me at ease. It's also really far away from my current house, which puts me even more at ease. At this point in my life, it's best not to have any shred of stress if I can help it. Arnold was packed up into a black wagon and carted off to some kind of dorm or something for the term of his employment. I heard he was kicking and screaming the whole way there. But I guess he piped down at least a little as soon as the van finally pulled up to the worksite. By all accounts, he's got a fairly difficult life out there, surrounded by all his hardened new co-workers. But he's still surviving and paying off his debts little by little each month. We can still only just hope that he'll leave the company as a decent human being.